Hi guys, welcome to the third and final part of the MiniArt FW-190 build. Last time we finished the camouflage painting, and today I'm basically going to spend the entire episode ruining it. For those of you who missed the previous parts, underneath the camouflage there's a silver base coat. So now, using a needle, I start adding scratches and paint chips to reveal the metallic layer underneath. I try to focus mainly on areas that would naturally see heavy maintenance or crew traffic. Around panels, wing roots, service hatches, basically all the places where mechanics with boots and tools would slowly destroy the paint over time. After the chipping comes highlighting. Using heavily diluted white paint, I spray subtle highlights across selected panels. Once that's done, I move to shading. For the green camouflage, I use Mr. Hobby C121 paint, carefully spraying along rivet and panel lines. On the brown camouflage, I switch to black for slightly stronger contrast. And now comes one of my favorite little tricks. Using a sanding sponge, I gently wear down some surfaces to imitate random scratches and general operational wear, especially in areas where the pilot and ground crew would constantly walk or touch the aircraft. Before moving further, I finally attach the ailerons and rudder. And yes, the paper towel under the model is not only there to protect my precious black background, it also helps reduce dust and random debris sticking to the surface while painting. Learned that one the hard way. Now it's time for gloss coat. I use Mr. Hobby GX100 clear coat in two stages. First, a light mist coat, then a proper wet coat. The trick here is keeping the airbrush relatively close to the surface to get that smooth, glossy finish. And then, patience. I leave the model alone for a full day to dry. While waiting, I work on the landing gear. Adding brake lines is one of those tiny upgrades that takes almost no effort, but adds a huge amount of realism. The landing gear legs are painted in RLM02, while the hoses are hand painted using Vallejo black and some Tamiya buff and desert yellow tones. Next, I paint the spinner end wheels using Mr. Color C33 flat black paint. And now, quick pro tip. If you have leftover masking templates from another kit, don't throw them away. Turns out my old North American P51 Mustang model kit wheel masts fit these wheels almost perfectly. For the tires, I use Tamiya XF85 rubber black paint. The next day, the gloss coat is fully cured and it's finally decal time. As usual, I apply microset decal solution under the decal first. Once positioned, I gently remove excess liquid and air bubbles using a cotton bud. This step is important because it greatly reduces the risk of silvering later. Most decals go on without drama, but this spinner decal definitely looked like it wanted to fight me. Still, by taking it slowly and carefully pressing it into place, it actually behaved surprisingly well. When the cotton bud feels too aggressive, I switch to a brush dampened with microset. And voila! Next comes Microsol Decal Solution, giving the decals their final treatment and helping them settle perfectly into the surface details. With decals complete, I move on to the landing gear. Before installation, I add some black wash inside the wheel wells and onto the landing gear legs. Small strips of self-adhesive aluminum foil simulate the chrome sections of the shock absorbers. Everything is assembled using CA glue. Exhaust tips are painted black, and then I seal the decals with another protective gloss coat. Once dry, I start applying a dark brown wash to highlight all the rivets and panel lines. I don't leave it on for too long, just a few minutes before carefully removing the excess. The model is now sealed with a matte varnish. You can see the difference between the glossy and matte finish on the wings. Now the entire aircraft receives a full matte coat. Using brown paint, I begin building up exhaust stains. Then I layer over it with Tamiya black green and finally pure black to deepen the effect. Since I already have black loaded in the airbrush, I also add staining around the shell ejection ports. Then I play around a bit with oils. Black oil paint is blended using a clean brush to create subtle grime and streaking effects. To dirty up the wheels, I use dry pigments fixed in place with pigment fixer. Now, some of you may remember that during the build I broke one of the cannon barrels and later removed the second one as well. Rather than repairing the plastic parts, I decide to replace both barrels with metal tubing made from hypodermic needles. I measure the correct length, cut them slightly oversized, and then sand the ends smooth. Using a solid needle, I also clean and round the openings before painting the barrels black. Over the black base, I apply gunmetal pigment, giving them a much more convincing metallic finish. Honestly, probably better than the original plastic parts anyway. The new barrels are installed using CA glue. Moving forward, I finally unmasked the windshield and attached the canopy using ultra glue. Tamiya red and green enamel paints are used to simulate the navigational lights on the wingtips. The antenna wire is made from elastic rigging material and mounted slightly loose since the canopy is displayed open. A few final small details go on, and then one extra detail not included in the kit. The landing gear indicators. I make them from lead wire painted red, cut into tiny 2.5mm sections and mounted with CA glue. And with that, the build is finished. If you watched the entire series, thank you guys, I really appreciate it. Let me know in the comments what you think, what you liked, and what I could improve for future builds. As always, thank you for watching, subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and feel free to visit my store at modelfundisplay.com. Model on, and see you next time!